Hello, greetings. Welcome to Connect Africa. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending where you are in this world. We are here, myself and Kwame Gonza, a bit late. But we should really do this. We have been thinking to do with the Paris Olympic that has just been ended with regards to the African athletes there. So we will reflect on this one. So Kwame is here with us. Without further ado, I'll just go and welcome Kwame. So welcome Kwame, and thank you really for doing this for us.
Thank you, Mahlet, and thank you everyone who's watching. We've been around at least for a couple of times today, and we want to thank everyone who has been, paying attention to the channel and whatever updates we have been bringing. So I think that is very important, but also very good. So we want to appreciate everyone.
Thank you, Kwame, for that. Thanks again for those of you who are tuning in and continue to support us by various means, watching, commenting, suggesting, engaging, and also through donating. Now, let me go ahead and ask you. When it comes to Olympics, it is usually, I think, very few African countries are represented. When it comes to running, it's the East African countries. And yeah, there are others also for short distance, this and that. But in general, if we make statistics, which African countries were represented in this Paris Olympic 2024, and which one of them have won medals?
Okay, Mahlet, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, Mahlet?
Yes, we hear you. Very good, loud.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you so much. Yes, the Olympics, a lot of African countries participated, and of course, it is very good that a lot of the African countries actually were able to send representatives, and out of those, of course, we have South Africa, and a lot of them, almost almost all our countries participated. So it will be difficult even to name each one of them. Uh, you know, uh, but what we'll concentrate on for now, at least those ones who were able to win some medals, right? We had, of course, Kenya, Algeria, South Africa, and Egypt, Ethiopia, Tunisia, Botswana, Uganda, Morocco, Ivory Coast, Cabo Verde, and Zambia. These are the ones which got, uh, you know, uh, some medals for the continent. And for those which did not get any medals, of course, the prominent ones, we know Nigeria and Ghana, which are normally players on the continent, especially when it comes to the game of soccer. So let me see here. What a little bit. So So majorly, as you've mentioned, it is athletics. Athletics is the major game for the African continent, of course, and that includes games like running, marathon, and racing. These are the major games which Africa majorly participates in. But we saw participation in also basketball. We saw participation in that area, and especially Southern Sudan was pivotal in support, in playing a major role in representing Africa in that area, and also Nigeria when it comes to female basketball. Also we saw Nigeria playing a very big, role in there, that it was even able to defeat a couple of teams, including Australia, I think, and France also, but missed out on a medal, at least on a bronze medal. So these are the these are the parts where we can say that there was a lot of work which was done by the African teams, and where we got some medals, of course.
Okay, now let us look at on the medals that have been won. So, what did we notice about the whole table on a global scale?
Yeah, so Africa actually did very well. On the whole, the African continent did very well. Uh, we got, a total of about 39 medals, which is really in itself impressive, because at the top of the table, there was the United States. All right. I'll try to pull up something here which I will share. At the top of the table, there was the United States and China. And Africa combined together, if you combine all our countries which got medals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 African countries which came out with medals. All right. If you combine all of us, we got about 39 medals, and 13 gold, and 12 silver, and 14 bronze, of course. Now, when we look at the table, when we look at the table, we see the United States at the top, of course, and then China is the next, and then Japan, Australia, France, Netherlands, Great Britain, at least the top 10, Italy and Germany. So what we notice in the table is that those countries which achieved a lot in terms of, medals, at least they are rich countries, right? They are superpowers. So which means that countries are investing, in sports, depending, or even they are using it, if we say, a geopolitical tool in one way or the other, because you see that the countries which are contending on a geopolitical scale, the United States and China, they are the ones who are on top of the table. So, in one way or the other, you can say that there is a desire to invest in the sport, but also the countries which have a bigger economy. Okay, the countries which have bigger economies, they have an opportunity also to invest heavily, in sport. Now, for Africa to perform the way we performed, actually, it is even just impressive. It's very impressive if you look at what we achieved, and actually, as a continent, Africa as a continent, if we say that we have unified Africa into a single state, all right, if we say that we have integrated Africa into a single state, we will see that Africa would have come at around eighth position on the table. All right. If you look at the table, you look at German, you look at Britain. We came ahead of German, actually, as a continent. But also the other thing which you can say, if you compare with the rest of the world, is that these countries are at the top of the table. Apart from China, the United States itself used a lot of athletes of African descent. For example, if you look at, for example, Biles, Simeon Biles, these are people of African descent, and all the other medals which the United States won. If you look at basketball, especially in athletics, athletics is where the United States won most of the medals, about 14 medals, and this is majorly, ruled, or it was majorly people of African descent, majorly. It is just a few white people in there. So you can see that Africa, has a lot of influence, has a lot of potential. There's huge, huge potential for the African continent, to step up. There's huge potential for Africa to step up, and and play a major role. If we take these things seriously. You
So
can
which
see,
African country is on the top?
yes. So the African country on top is Kenya,
Oh.
which is at number 17. Kenya came on number 17 globally, right? But
Mhm.
it's the number one on the continent with the 4 gold medals, two silver, all right? Kenya got two silver and then it got 5 bronze. So it has a total of 11 medals. Now the next number two is Algeria. Then number three for Africa is South Africa. So
Oh my
Algeria has,
God.
yeah,
Ethiopia is not even this year is not good for Ethiopia. Okay. Not this year,
yeah,
this Olympic. I mean,
yes. So Ethiopia came after, Ethiopia came after South Africa at number four.
wow.
So in the whole continent, Ethiopia came up at number four, but globally, Ethiopia came at number 45, right? With 4 medals, 1 gold and 3 silver. So that is where Ethiopia is. Now, then the other countries would follow Egypt with 3 medals at number 52, Tunisia at number 52. We have Botswana with 1 gold and 1 silver at number 55. Uganda also has 1 gold and 1 silver, number 55 globally. And then Morocco, 1 silver and one, bronze. And we have there Ivory Coast, Cabo Verde, and Zambia. All of them they go to one bronze medal all the way downwards. So that is how African countries performed. But what I wanted to point out here is that on the whole, as a unified entity, the African continent got a position of number 8. It should be at number 8 ahead of the Republic of Korea, or which is South Korea, because we have 13. We have 13 gold medals. If you look at around here, and we have silver. We have silver around 12, and then bronze we have around 14. So we have a total of 39 medals just ahead of South Korea. So if we were competing as a unit, the continent was competing as a unit, then it would have been at the position of number 8 as a continent, or all of us, if we
I think
competed
we
in that.
should be I would say we should be number one. In fact, it should be Olympics should be all about African people, because even for USA, for France, look at now. I agree totally with what Croa Fadas commented here, and beyond. Actually, it's all dominated by Black people. It doesn't matter for which country. Some of them, even as you said, they change their name and they run. I mean, Ethiopia. This happened. I'm an Ethiopian, and this happened a lot of times. Our own people have run against Ethiopians, but those ones are running. It's maybe either for the Netherlands, for example, the one who won marathon, woman marathon. She's Ethiopian, and other Turkey, Libya, like we have in the Gulf, Bahrain, and others. So for me, I think
Yeah,
it was
so
all dominated by Black people, and you can add the Caribbean in there. What is left then? I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
Chinese.
so yeah, yes, all the Caribbean countries like Jamaica, all these, of course, you can consider them as Africans or people of African descent. But when you go to when you go to countries like France, for example, France, won got a lot of medals also. Its medals, is even at number 5. France is at number 5, around 16. But you look at its basketball team, for example, athletics, these people who represented it are all Africans. Actually, France, in both the men and the female basketball team, when you look at them, all of them are people of African descent. Majority, there is about, out of a team of 12 people, you find that there is only about 5 people who are white, on the whole team. And yet the French team got around, got silver medal in basketball team for, basketball sport, basketball as a sport. So yeah, so I think you are right. The only country which did not depend on Africans, to pull this off, I think it was China, and China has invested a lot of money in its activities. But majorly, the sports where China was able to win, those sports, they don't involve a lot of Africans. So if it was, like it doesn't involve Africans or people of African descent, that is where China was able to win and gather up some medals. Diversified. It's sort of diversified in its investment in Olympics. That each of the sports, all the other sports, China has invested in them, if you look at their team. So they were able to gather a lot of medals from other different other sports in which Africa did not participate. You have muted yourself, Mahlet.
Yeah, so it will be only China. All the other, it's just all black people, and they don't
Yes,
take it.
at least for the countries which are on top, maybe also Australia. But Australia, their basketball team, I think Australia they got a bronze for basketball, but also their team was just having one person who was black in there, uh, one or two people who are black. Netherlands, I'm not very sure, but Britain is at the top at number 7. That one we know they use a lot of black people. They have a lot of black people in their teams. So for Britain, that one is not really very surprising. Yeah, so but specifically China is the one which doesn't use a lot of Africans and people of African descent.
Yeah, uh, I agree. Yeah. So, what do you think the lesson for us to draw out of this? There's always a lesson for Africa. If we are nothing, if our heads of states are nothing, some of them, their sport federation is very corrupted, and even when the government or the people want something, it's not. There's a lot of one thing that's unspoken is there's a lot of corruption in sport federation in many
Yeah,
countries.
so of course it's very disheartening like that teams like Nigeria did not win any medal. It shows that we are not investing, in sports as a continent, and of course you can say that there's reasons because we have, majority of our countries are really, not, first class countries. They are not hugely developed countries that our economies are small. We are underdeveloped countries, just to put it precisely. So there is need, I think, for us to form, to put together some form of maybe African Olympic Committee or African Union Olympic Committee, to continue to, encourage other African countries, all the African countries to invest in the sports, because this performance in itself shows for our countries which don't have a lot of resources to perform like this, it shows that there's huge potential on the African continent. Like I said, if Africa was performing, was competing as a unit, we would have been at number 8 out of, from all the table, on all the table, if you put our medals together, because we won 13 gold, 12 silver, and 14 bronze. All right, a total of 39 medals. So we would have been like number 8. Now, this shows that there's so much potential on the African continent that even with the small resources, with the little resources which we have, at least we were able, to perform, admirably well compared to the rest of the world, which has a lot of resources. Look at places like Singapore, huge resources. These guys, they have a lot of resources. They don't lack in anything almost, but they were not able even to win medals. You see, so which is which is ridiculous. There's teams actually which you see. In Singapore, they won just one bronze. All right, look at Qatar, for example. These people, they have a lot of resources. One bronze, they have a lot of resources. These guys, they have a lot of resources, and there's a lot of other European countries you can talk of that they do have money, but they didn't have, invest in it. And you look at India, for example, it also, is at number 71, is even below most of the African countries, when it comes to how much it won. Is way below, with only one silver and 5 bronze at number 71 of the table, or just all the way at the bottom of the table. The table has about 84 positions, and India was at number 1. So this also reflects, that India also is lacking in one or the other in when it comes to its sports. And also this brings also the fact that people who compare India to China, there's a very, very big difference. This one also shows a lot of, difference, a huge difference between them. But for Africa, I think huge lessons. We need to come together. It showed what can be achieved if we come together. These sports, what happened there, that if we unify as Africa, we could even lead the table, because remember that if our continent is unified politically and we are in a very good economic position, even our players would not seek to play for outside teams. We saw names, who are playing in the German team. I mean, people who are playing in the British team and all these European countries, Canada, all right? And all these people, they're Africans. But if we had a good continent where everything is working, I'm sure that all these people would return back, would want to play for the African continent. They would want to compete for the African continent. So this is, I think, that is very important. We could have been even ahead of the table, either number two or somewhere there, if our continent was unified. So this is the importance of unity for the African continent. It is extremely important that we work on the issue of unifying the African continent. Number two, what I see is that, of course, which I've mentioned already, the potential is huge. If you look at all the people of African descent who played and who won for the United States, people like Noah Lyles, for example, who won the 100 meters, Simeon Biles, who is in she's a gymnastics, and Jamaica, of course, we've spoken about those ones. The women's teams, huge numbers of women, in these European teams. So all these people, I think that we need to put just our house in order as Africans. It shows, of course, also that we are disorganized as a continent, and we need to put our continent in order. If we put it in order, all these people are going to be attracted back, and not only in sports but even professionally. A lot of professionals, in the West, whether it's scientists and all that, they will return back to the continent and work for the continent, because some of these people, they don't want to work in disorganized conditions, unstable political situations and stuff like that. That is why they are out there. So if you organize yourselves, if we organize ourselves as a continent, that means that we will be able to provide all these facilities that these people need to do, to compete internationally on the international scale without lacking anything. Yeah, so I think that this is what we learned from these, Olympics, which happened in France, in Paris.
As one point, yeah, the Russia did not participate, so we cannot really call it real.
Yeah, so Russia did not participate. I think it's simply, and Russians are very good at gymnastics. So it's unfortunate that they did not compete. And of course, it's because the West, they are the ones who are controlling this event. So they can just outlaw anyone they don't want. And because of Russia's challenges with Ukraine, so that is why they banned Russia from it. And they are the ones who control everything. So I think it's not surprising that Russia did not participate.
Yeah, I was looking for a film that I wanted to show you. So my own, thank you very much for that, Kwame. We talk. Our our job is to talk, to inform. But whether our people, our heads of state, those concerned will take a note or something is another thing. Um, yeah, if I don't know if you have followed the women marathon, what happened? Have you seen it, Kwame?
Yeah, I saw that. What was that? Was it the 3,000 or 5,000?
No, marathon.
Yes, the marathon. But the marathon, there's I think it's 5,000 or and 3,000 or something like that.
No, that's long one. The marathon is what, 42 kilometer.
Yeah, so I think for them they normally put it in meters. So I saw normally 5,000 meters and then the 3,000 meters.
So marathon is the one they do on Sunday. So at the end, Saturday is the men marathon, and Sunday was a women marathon. So what happened is that I don't if it was viral. I don't know if they have deleted it. You can see that there's always a fight, like a competition that between Ethiopian and Kenyan athletes, and the Kenyan athlete holding the Ethiopian athlete, and it's after all that, not that person who was hauled by, she was run around her there were many Kenyan athletes, and they were like literally by hand pulling her. But at the end, another Ethiopian, because marathon is always, it's a group work, so another Ethiopian were able to get silver finally. So I really wish, if, while I talk, if I tried, so I couldn't. Maybe they have the Kenyans have come all together, and maybe they might have removed it. It was all over the internet how she was pulling her. One thing I want to draw two things. Now, Kenyans, it's not for the first time they are doing it against Ethiopia. They have done, there is a typical example, Kipchoge. He has done it to Haile Gebrselassie, the renowned athlete of Ethiopia. Actually, that was on a track, 10,000 track, and he basically beat him. When he don't beat him, when he knows that he don't beat him, he beat, like he really beat his back of Haile's back. And it was so dramatic. This was like years ago. Haile already, this Ethiopian athlete, has made a peace, and he invited him. He's a very, this Haile Gebrselassie is very, very nice person and very humble person. And so he invited him, and things are settled. But now this, again, seeing it between the woman, it's, as an African, very, they should be supportive of each other. There are others also now in marathon. Look, while they are fighting, it was first place Netherlands, second place Ethiopia, third place Kenyan. Now, the Netherlands is not really Netherlands. It's an Ethiopian woman, Sifan Hassan, but with her Dutch passport, who ran, and for whatever reason, she might be, she's more happy probably being Dutch, having a Dutch passport, than Ethiopian. In any case, but she's Ethiopian passport. Even they call her on news the Ethiopian Dutch. That's how they call her. So you can't remove that Ethiopian thing from you. It's all, or African thing that's all over printed on you. Okay. The thing, what I want to draw a lesson with that, while they are fighting, another one win it, which is a non-Africa. The same thing happens to our economy. The same thing happens to whatever, everywhere. While we fight against each other, then they always win. Okay. The gold should have been either for Kenya, for Ethiopia. I really don't believe it should be for, this lady. I mean, she's a good athlete, fantastic, but these are also fantastic athletes. And that's a lesson. It's a very symbolic thing. Yesterday I was thinking, well, shall I write an article or come and reflect on it quickly? But it's very, this is our reality.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the competition is very unhealthy. I saw that video. I saw when they were pushing each other.
No, I
I
couldn't
think.
find it because they came and she was removed from her rank. The person who pulled her got the third place, and she was removed, and then again she was restored. So it was all over the news, like the Kenya writing something, an article even, that the Ethiopians who tried to cheat this and that, so fast coming out on Ethiopia. And wow, how organized they are. Again, it shows that we Ethiopians fighting against each other in between and then look, we can't even deliver a justice to this lady, what happened to her in Marathon. It's just sad. It was a sad moment. I didn't celebrate it. For me, that picture of fighting was bigger than the medal and everything. Yeah. Look, being pulled. Yeah, she's in pain as well.
So they were struggling against each other.
Yeah,
They
okay.
were really struggling against each other.
Yeah.
So you can see how they're pushing each other. Everyone
Yeah.
wants to be at the front and set the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This is a problem that I think that as a continent we need to work
Also,
on.
if you can locate that, I'm sure you can find also the other one, Haile Gebrselassie, the Ethiopian and Kenyan athlete on the track. I think it was 10,000 meter. But yeah, it's really
Mm.
interesting. This is just our reality. Yeah, the Juma, this is our yeah, exactly. This is it. It's very very sad that we can't support each other. Uh, if not Ethiopian, if not at least one African can win it, and the gold could have been for Africa. Doesn't matter for who, and showing
Mm.
even it has a lot of it's watched by millions of people. The fact that even if they see that the Ethiopian one is tired or something, that if a Kenyan athlete come and pass the water to her, or everything what you do is multiplied. It's so big. So fighting should be at the very very least, or it's something that you can pass a lot of you can uh, bring a lot of message to people by your humble character, what you do there. You are representing, you are beyond Ethiopia, you are beyond Africa, you are beyond Kenya. It's you're representing Africa. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's just sad. Yeah, so not this one but another Ethiopian won silver. Yeah, yeah, let it be. But yeah, it's good. It's
So,
always.
uh,
Huh?
did she win the race?
Sorry?
Was she able to win the race?
No, no. Another one, another Ethiopian got silver. Marathon was Netherlands, Ethiopia, and Kenya. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. She was just racing for Netherlands, but she still was an
No,
Ethiopian,
no.
right?
In this one, you don't see it. It was. Oh, this was what? This was a track and day. This a track? Did I make a mistake? Anyway, it the Netherlands one, you don't see her here. You if you can just put Sifan Hassan, you will see her.
Okay.
Maybe this was a track. Maybe it's me who made a mistake. Yeah, so I am sure you all agree with me. Pedro Gemot, lion rules the jungle without fear. Hello. Dejuma, Patricia Cox, greetings, my sister. Ciendes, who else? Kwafadas. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. All of you for your, yeah, this one is another one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can see she's Ethiopian. This is Ethiopian, and it's not
Okay.
that she grew up here or something. It's like usually athletes they change their citizenship
Of
in
course, of course. It's
after even
economic.
being seen running for that specific African country. That's where they take you. But hers has to do with, I think she did a political asylum or something. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so it mostly has to do economic economic reasons. So I
And
don't think that people go to the West. Africans, I don't think they go to the West because the West they like us or they love us very much or it's a good place to be, but it's simply because of economic reasons. That is the reason why our people go over there. It's not because those places they like us or they have better conditions than our places or those places are better than us, in maybe in human rights or something, or in culture that they are better than us in culture. I really don't think that is the case. People go over there only for economic reasons, but it's just that these people they exaggerate it and they make it look like our people are going over there for human rights and stuff like like that. But mostly our people change because they think that there's better economic prospects, in these countries. Yeah, so that is why we were talking about our, we have to put our continent in order. If we don't put the continent in order, then our potential will continue to be exploited by other people, as we are seeing that even at the Olympics, you can see it that the African continent was not just exploited in the past when it comes to human resources. Even today they are still exploiting the human resource of the African continent.
Yeah.
So it's very evident. So the human resource now and the material resources also now they are exploiting it. So they have made the conditions unbearable on the continent itself, that now our best, the best of us have to run out of the continent and go over there to their countries, and even to beg to get in. So this is what is happening, and of course the result is what we are seeing in Britain, backlash against blacks and stuff like that, racism and all that. Even though
Yeah.
you have these
Soccer.
capabilities,
When
these
you miss
problems.
that penalty or when you do something,
Yeah,
it gets
yeah,
bigger on you. When the white man miss, yeah, it's just nothing.
yeah.
Well,
So
we don't take a lesson, so, but also one thing, this one, the athletes actually go to another country, West or the Gulf or whatever. One is economic reason, true. Second, also, this is why I say there's a lot of, I say it, at least corruption in whether it's athletics federation or sport federation in general, whatever we call it in our country. There's a lot of corruption for athletes to be taken. Sometimes they have to pay money, they have the talent and everything, but lots of corruption there. So when they see that, whether it's by their ethnicity or something, that they are not selected, okay, it's enough is enough. While I am still young, I want to run and get money, so they go to another country and get
yeah,
that money. Yeah, that's also another thing. Well, thank you all. That was it for us. Greta Woodson, thank you. Greetings, sister, and thank you for your support on PayPal account. And Child of God, hello. I didn't see you, or did you guys just came? I don't know. Maybe you have been just on the background. Also, Olympics has, the CND says, also Olympic has a limit on number of athletes per country. So some are technically forced to change nationality to have a chance of qualifying. Okay, yeah, that could be also
I
another.
think you said she won the medal.
Yeah, marathon. Marathon she won.
Yeah,
But she has actually 3 medals. She did these
yeah,
Kenyans, Ethiopians. Yeah,
yeah. It
good.
is what it is. It is what it is. So
Yeah. Greta, you see, huh? You saw what good. I'm happy that you saw it. She says, I saw that one. Yeah, very. It made me really sad, and I didn't make me happy that we got second place. That part, that scene was so bad. Well, so have a good evening, everyone. Have a good day. We will see you on the next one. Now, not only me, Kwame has started bringing you all what's happening. I wouldn't say all because a lot is happening, but trying our best, what is best, or to bring to you also in the daytime. We are seeing a lot of comments and support, so thank you. Continue to engage and share the video with others, and we will see you again tomorrow, both of us, and also in our own solo things, that short reports that we bring to you. Ciao. Thank you. Kwame. Bye.